Hey everyone, it's Dawn, Moonlight Princess. Sorry about the background effects. My grandbaby's watching cartoons inside, so you might hear like doo-doo-doo-doo-doo, some crazy cartoon stuff. But I'm really excited. Being stuck in the house gives me a lot of time. I was sick for a couple days, but I'm better now. And I thought I'd do a pick a deck reading. They're always a lot of fun, so I thought I'd do something a little different today. Instead of pick a deck, it's more like pick an object. Each object will have its own deck, but I want you to focus on the objects themselves. And then let your inner spirit guide you to what deck's gonna be kind of behind that door. So these are the 3 items we're gonna use. I'm gonna have you choose from. Each item was given to me by somebody close to me at the time. So it holds significant, energy in it. The first item is my Queen Nefertiti statue that was given to me by somebody named Lucius. I'll stop that part there. We'll just say his name was Lucius. That's what his name was. So, she's beautiful. The second item is this beautiful moon wand. And this was given to me by my mother right before she passed away. It was my very first wand. The second item is this Lemurian quartz skull. This item was also given to me by somebody named Izzy. So I have 3 items. My statue, Queen Nefertiti, my wand, my beautiful moon wand, or this very penetrating and very deep Lemurian quartz skull. Pick one, and I will be back. Ooh, it got foggy there for a second. It's getting blurry, so I don't know what's happening, but I'll be back with your reading after you choose. Also check the description box below for the timestamps to show where you can fast forward to your choice. The decks that I'm going to be using for these readings, the one is my usual trusty, my very original tarot deck ever, the Golden Tarot of the Renaissance. This is my go-to deck. I love this deck. It was my very first deck. The second deck that I'm going to be using also is my Moonology Oracle cards. The third one is my Goddess Power cards, my oracles. And then I'm also going to be pulling a card from the past life as well. I might pull 1 or 2. I'm going to let Spirit guide me on that as well. But those are the decks that I'll be using for these readings, so you have references as well. For those of you who chose the Nefertiti bust, this is your reading. Hi, this is for group number 1 who chose the beautiful Nefertiti bust. I was trying to debate if I should just stay like this and then pull the cards, or if I should I think I'm just gonna have the camera face the cards, and then I'll just let you look at the cards so you can get the cards' energy as I go, and then just give you the message. That's what I'm gonna do for the rest of the video going forward. Okay, my loves. So the first set of cards that we're gonna talk about were pulled from my Golden Tarot of the Renaissance. Like I said, that's my favorite deck. My original, it's the one I started with years ago, so we're going to start with those. And I'm going to lay them out the way, I haven't even seen them yet, so I'm going to lay them out the way Spirit has had them come down to me here, so. Sorry, I'm trying to do this focus. You could see me flipping. Okay. Now, let's see. Okay. I'm back. Sorry. I had to kind of stopped the video for a second and my battery almost died. And I'm like, of course it does, as I'm in the middle of making a video. So I had to plug it in, and then I just regrouped the cards that I pulled out before, just so the same suits were together, which was almost pretty easy because 3 out of the 4 are the same suit. So for this reading, for the Nefertiti people, those who had chose the Nefertiti statue, the cards that you got with the Golden Tarot of the Renaissance deck was the 4 of Swords, the Knight of Swords, the 9 of Swords, and the 5 of Pentacles, and everything is in the upright position. Now look, I'm not gonna lie, anyone that knows me knows I don't sugarcoat anything. I say it as it is. I try to do it with love, and I try to do it gently, but a message is a message. I don't sugarcoat it. So when I regrouped before I came back on cam, I actually had to stop and look for a second to see if I was seeing things. I actually went and found my glasses. That was the other thing too. I couldn't find my glasses to make sure I was seeing it right. I'm seeing these three cards. Sorry, 3 cards with the swords, and then I turn around, and then I'm seeing the 5 of Pentacles upright. And I'm thinking, oh, shoot, because I know what this is. And then I'm saying, with these, are you kidding? And I want to know what's going on. Okay, so we're going to deep into what's going on. Now, for those of you who have had readings with me before, again, quick recap for those who maybe haven't. If I'm speaking of anything, each card has a lot of different meanings. Do not make them all apply to you. Only take what resonates with you. Everything else, put in your mental junk drawer. Keep it in the back of the head somewhere in case something else pops up. A card, something in the card could be referring to you. It could be referring to somebody else in your life that's relevant to you. So it's not always like, oh, they must be talking about me. No, it could be they're talking about your spouse or your significant other or your boss or your neighbor. So just let it resonate, because you should know exactly where it's going. And only keep what resonates. If it doesn't resonate, like I said, put it in your mental junk drawer. If it's a king, a queen, or if I say he or she, it doesn't always mean that. That's just the energy that comes with it, but it could be the same sex, opposite sex. It does not matter. So now let's get into the sword cards. I'm going to move the pentacle guy over for the second. The sword cards have a bad reputation in the tarot industry, because usually when a sword card comes up, it usually means, oh, just what it looks like. Everyone's like, the knives are going at you, like, ever hear, like, get the knife out of my back, that type of thing. So we're going to start with the very first one. I'm actually going to move this over here. The first one being the 4 of Swords in the upright position. Going on today, this card, it's ironic because it's a card of fear. It's a card of anxiety. But at the same time, it talks of solitude, introspection, meditation, possible hospitalization, regrouping, looking towards the future. That type of card. It's also a card of like stepping back and just contemplating and just kind of thinking things. So whether it's a relationship, a job, just maybe yourself, your own personal growth. This is a time of introspection, solitude, and we know even with the health issues going on right now, a lot of people are in solitude. It also goes deeper. It's more in a mental state. So it's talking about, just going deep, meditation, going within. So this is more of not a coronavirus thing. This is more of a mental thing, a spiritual thing. So it talks about introspection and really just going within at this point, and having some fear and anxieties that you're trying to battle. So now we're going to talk about the 9 of Swords. And again, just like the 4 of Swords, it represents some fear, some anxiety, isolation, right there. Everything that we're pretty much all of us in this world are going through right now. Some fear, some anxiety, some isolation. But besides that, it also talks a little bit about some remorse and some guilt that some people may be feeling. So it's causing them to have some unhappiness in their life, some sadness. Because this is a card of feeling guilty and having regret and remorse, it's also a card of possibly focusing on the past. What it coulda, shouldas, and stuff like that. This card also can be a signifier that there's someone who's gossiping. You or someone you know, or, could be the subject of slander or malicious gossip. Someone making mountain out of molehill. So somebody in your life, it could be you doing it, it could be somebody else doing it to you or about somebody else, but there's somebody in your life that could be taking a situation and making it way, way bigger than it is. For whatever reason, is their own, it's in each individual case basis, but they're doing this and they're causing gossip where it doesn't need to be done, and it's really kind of messy. So this is that kind of a swords card. So thank goodness for a different, upbeat of it now. Now we come over to the Knight of Swords. Now when we get to the court cards like the Knight, the Queen, and the King, when it comes to swords, it's always got a nicer, more upbeat meaning. The Knight of Swords usually represents a person or an energy. It usually represents a male. This person could be, not necessarily, but could be Libra, Aquarius, Gemini. One of those possible. It could be a rising sign, any of those other signs, but the card gives a Libra, Aquarius, Gemini, and it talks about military or law enforcement, that type of, that person could have been involved. Could have been, again, it could have been in any department or anything. So pretty much what this card is saying, that someone may be coming into your life. It could be a male coming into your life. It could be a female. But it may or may not have one of those energies of the Libra, Aquarius, or Gemini. And again, it may or may not have a touch of military or law enforcement, but that's what comes up in that card as well. But somebody may be coming in your life. They're very charming, optimistic, they're the quick talker, things happen when they talk. They bring with them this great energy. So here you are going through these times here. And then I'm seeing like somebody's going to come along, with all of these great things, and they're going to start lifting your spirits, and things are just going to start seeming great. What concerns me is because right after that, this guy's here. And this guy's the Five of Pentacles. This card is not the greatest omen to get because it does represent hardships. It represents being left out in the cold, a negative change in circumstance. It could represent something going wrong that you thought was going to go right. So it's almost, when I look at this card, it's almost to me like a warning, and I only go where Spirit's pulling me. I'm seeing somebody's going through these hardships here. They're vulnerable. And oh, thank you, Spirit. That just popped right out of my mouth. They're vulnerable. I don't know where that came from. Vulnerable. Here comes the Knight in shining armor. And this is the Knight of Swords, which happens to be those cards. Here comes the Knight of them, making everything look beautiful, except instead of it continuing or it being long-lasting, this shows that there may be an unrequited or manipulation going on, something that you're going to be let down with at the end. This card does represent having some bad luck. It represents divorces and scandals and breakups. So something linking these two is not good. So it's almost like a warning. If it doesn't apply, I am not one to say go pick another deck, because I'm a firm believer in, if you pick this, Spirit led you to pick this for a reason. So I'm not going to say go pick another deck. I'm just going to say if this doesn't apply at all in any area, even if whatever I'm saying, you're not even hearing a thing I'm saying, but you're like, yeah, I know where that goes towards in my life. If it doesn't apply to you at all, then please take it, write it down, put it in your junk drawer, because I'm telling you, you're not getting this for no reason. Okay? So there's vulnerability, going through a period of situation. I'm going to repeat myself one more time. Vulnerability, someone coming along trying to save the day, Knight in shining armor, but this happening instead. So it's a warning to watch for this and don't be vulnerable. Okay? I'm going to go on to the next cards and see if they kind of make sense to anything else. So the next cards that we have for you guys are the Moonology cards. So I'm just going to go ahead and flip those over. And these don't really matter if they're reversed or not. These are oracle cards, so these are a little bit different, okay? And these actually, hold on one second, there's a little book that it talks about. So I'm going to pull that out and we'll go over each one by one. Okay. For my Nefertiti people, the Moonology card that you got, the first one, is Expect Powerful Change. That's the new moon eclipse. So it's telling you here that if you need some kind of affirmation about achieving your dreams and desired outcomes of a situation you're asking about, then this is it. Okay, this is a card of beginnings, and there are powerful energies at work here. Now, it says be prepared because it's going to be quite a ride. So now you have to decide, is it going to be worth the ride? And I'm going to say this because I'm being pushed to say, be very careful what you wish for, because you just might get it, okay? Just because a powerful change is coming, and just because it's something you've wished for, is it something you really want? So just please make sure before you make those final wishes that you are absolutely sure. So, because whatever is happening right now is happening for a reason. So make sure your intentions are correct. If your intentions are right, everything that will happen going forward will be a pure blessing. If they're not, it's just the law of karma. It goes the way it goes. All right? It wants you to not focus on the past. With the cards, okay. You are vulnerable. I'm sorry. I'm like, He comes along. This happens. Don't focus on the past. That's what this card is asking you as well. There's some changes coming your way that if you just do the right thing and just stay strong in your moral compass, there's some good things. Just make sure your intentions are where they should be and they're correct. That's the main focus of this card, because you are your own creator. And with everything happening here, if you could just not focus on it, if this hasn't happened yet, you can stop it from happening. You can right now. And when you see it start to come, you could be like, haha, I knew you were coming, motherfucker. And then, you know what I mean? And kick that knight off his horse. Or you can let it happen and then learn the hard way later. Either way, it is your choice. That's free will. But the cards are telling you there is a powerful change coming. It's up to your choices to decide if they're going to be powerfully good, powerfully not so good. This card, a time to give rather than take. The new moon in Virgo goes perfect with this one. It really does, because here where it's telling you powerful change is coming in. It said, look, you can either keep, if this hasn't happened yet, you could stop it. Or if it has happened, you could, either not look back at the past. You could let it keep happening. It's your choice, right? But changes are going to come either way, and they're going to be positive or negative. It's up to you. This card tells you the same thing. It says when you get this card, it wants you to take stock of the situation, everything in your life, everything, where you are and where do you want to go. Because this card suggests a restart, okay? A complete restart. So if you don't take stock and really rethink on where you want to go, these changes are coming. You can make it. You can do it. But if you don't, everything is not going to go the way you want it to, and there's going to be to no one's fault but yourself. You're being given the tools here. You're being given the tools to get anything you want and manifest right now. So it talks about being of service to others. Really take stock in your life and think, are you doing everything in your life that really is of service to others, or are there some areas that you know you shouldn't? That it's not really benefiting. It's not just the right thing to do. So it wants you to really take stock, and there's a reason. Things are happening in this world right now, and I don't put fear in anybody. But what I do try to tell people is things happen for a reason. So take this time right now to really reflect. While you can, just reflect, because you don't know what tomorrow's going to bring you. But my God, if you manifest the right way, tomorrow will come and it will bring you an abundance of amazing things, but you got to do it right. You can't be selfish. You can't be greedy. You can't be trying to wear other people's crowns and stealing other people's things. It doesn't work that way. You know what I mean? Those people do not win, I can promise you. But sorry, when I get in those, that's spirit mode again. You'll hear me do that a lot and say sorry, sorry. And I don't know why I'm apologizing, because it's what I do, but I'll move on to the next one. So the next card I was pulling from the Past Life deck, and that was Lessons and Blessings. This card is saying that you're going through some things in your life right now that you have actually went through in a past life. And what it's encouraging you is to take these painful lessons and learn to make them into growth experiences instead of painful memories. You understand? Take the painful lesson, take the painful memory and make it a painful lesson, and then from there turn it into a growth experience. Because even something painful can be positive. Okay? So, and you can put this on any area of your life you need to, but whatever it's resonating with you on, because I know it's going to resonate with you specifically on something. Just remember, any painful areas, don't think of them as painful, don't think of them as negative. Think of them as blessings and think of them as positive growth experiences. And when you can do that, this guy, his power gets taken away. And when his power gets taken away, you begin to manifest all these big changes. And your lessons and blessings come. The last two cards that I was pulled for you guys, for my goddess deck, is the goddess Newt and Tanit. The Newt card talks about hope and clarity. It talks about hope after troubled times, the light at the end of the tunnel. That's exactly what it speaks about. It reads right on it, the starry night, hope, clarity, music of the universe, beauty and hope after troubled times. If you've been unwell or set back, now is the time to trust and hope. All is well. New plans. I'm sorry, this popped up at me too. There's going to be some new plans. Hope, like I said, light at the end of the tunnel. There'll be some new plans, education, and a restoration in faith. And that's really, really, really like the deep message of it all when it comes to the Newt card. Now with Tanit, Tanit was a Mediterranean goddess, and she had, her thing was she offered abundance and creativity. Where is it? Let me get closer so you could see it too. And sexuality and fertility and the fullness of life. So with this card, you can expect abundance. So that goes again with the powerful changes. Time to give rather than take, because we got some abundance coming. So you have to get right. So we have to make sure those lessons and blessings are checked and correct. So we're in check, because if one little thing is out of bounds. So whatever you're going through here, it's kind of just, the universe, spirit is just trying to reassure you. If you resonate with any of this, or you know someone that does, or if it happens to begin at some point, know for sure, remember this reading. Because all of this is in alignment, and you just have to stay in alignment with it. But the minute you go out of alignment, everything changes. So there is hope. Whatever situation you're in, if you ever feel hopeless or unloved, or like you can't go on, please remember, it's just a feeling. And I'm not trying to belittle anyone when I say that, because I know. But I just want you to understand that it's something, as horrible as it is, and as awful as that feeling is, you are loved, and with some help you can make it better, because there are people that will feel just as sad if you aren't here. So if anyone needed to hear that, I hope it touched them. Maybe it's not as, severe for others. Maybe it's the same scenario, but, it's not as, but, for some people it takes that hard, and even for those who are going through it but not as severe, the same story though. Just try to stay above it all, because as long as you're staying above it all, you'll be able to see through it all. Well, that's all for now. I hope this resonated with who it needed to. If anyone has any questions, please let me know. Hit me up in an email or on DM. And as always, joy and justice, love and blessings. to each and every one of you. I send you all love, blessings, and protection. I love you all. And while I have your attention, look at this heart-shaped cookie dough. Makes you want to like and subscribe and share my channel, doesn't it? It sure does. Is my hypnotism working? God damn it. Okay, well, like, subscribe, and share my channel. Hopefully you still like my cookie dough. I love you guys. Thank you. This is for the people who chose the moon wand. I'm going to do a little recap like I did with group 1. I'm going to just keep the camera on the cards for this reading instead of trying to use one hand to go back and forth. So it'll just make things a little easier. Also, I just wanted to reiterate, in case you've never seen a reading of mine, and if you have, just, a reiteration, that there may be times I say he or she or king or queen. That doesn't always mean male or female. It could, or it could just mean someone with a male, masculine or feminine energy, or someone who's just behaving or having those types of qualities. So whatever it resonates with, if I'm talking about the King of Cups, and I'm talking, but everything I'm saying is reminding you of, your cousin Bertha, then you know what? It's your cousin Bertha. She's the King of Cups. It's just, it doesn't mean she's, a butch. I know, it's none of that. It just means that's the energy that's pulling. So you have to go where it takes you and resonates with you. Also remember, the cards, although sometimes the messages may seem a little dire, are just warning cards. If it is a dire message, they can be changed. So it's warning you of something happening. So if nothing resonates, put it in your mental junk drawer for when it does pop up at some point, which it will. I say that very confidently. But only take with you what resonates. Don't try to overthink and attach something to you that doesn't. Just try to, remember. That's why I like these videos, because you could always save them, go back to them in case something else pops up at some point. Okay, with that being said, I'm going to start the reading. And I'm starting the reading with my, hold on one second, my Golden Tarot. I can't even think straight today. Golden Tarot of the Renaissance. I never refer to it by its official name, even though it's my first and favorite deck. So when I go to refer to it by its official name, I'm like, durr. So yeah, the Golden Tarot of the Renaissance. I try to keep the cards even when I'm pulling for each, group. But for some reason, Spirit kept spitting out an extra card for this group. So we take that as it comes. And we'll do the reading. So you'll have one extra card than the one before. Cards that we've pulled for you is the Nine of Pentacles reversed, the Eight of Swords, Two of Swords, both in the upright position, Six of Wands upright, and the Ace of Cups reversed. Okay. I'll go ahead and what I'm going to do is describe each card individually, and then I'll go ahead and kind of discuss it as a whole. So with this card, with the Eight of Swords in the upright position, this card can go in a few different scenarios. And again, you have to take it to where it applies in your life. This could be talking about the current situation, or there also may be a separate situation where some of these points might be relevant to. So this card, for the most part, focuses on how there may be some feeling of fear, some feeling of anxiety and isolation. This seems to be a card, not this card in particular, but the cards that have been coming up in readings over the last few days seem to focus on fear, anxiety, and isolation. And with what's going on now, it's no surprise, but it could be due to now or some other outlining situations going on in your life. It's almost like you may be feeling like you're backed into a corner, or that you're being censored, or being told to shh. This is a card of possibly going through some kind of drama or crisis. Now, the overall theme of the Eight of Swords, though, when you look at it as the whole picture, is you're actually the one keeping yourself here. It's your thoughts and your actions that are keeping yourself in the situation. Be careful, because this card can sometimes also represent feeling helpless in relationships, where you almost feel victimized and afraid to speak out. And that's what it kind of represents too, being afraid to speak. So if you're in a relationship that has started to seem like it's getting a little abusive, or something doesn't seem right, don't wait till the last minute. There is help, okay? Just don't let it get to that point if this resonates with you. This card is also a warning card that if there is any disloyalty or cheating going on in a relationship, whether it's on your end or someone else's end, or whatever the case may be, this card represented finally coming to light. So cheating and disloyalty will be coming to light in some regards. This card is also representative of possibly somebody having either PTSD, anxiety, depression, or panic attacks. So it's kind of representative of that issue as well. So now we're going to look at the Two of Swords. And the Two of Swords is in the upright position as well. Okay, with the Two of Swords upright, this card seems to speak a lot about being on the fence about something. There's some decisions that need to be made. Okay, clearly there's some, they may seem, this card gives the feeling of painful decisions that you know have to be made, and you're having a hard time making them. This card talks about the possibility of making your decisions are between two options, two people, two choices, whether it's relationships, work, anything. It's choosing between two things. That's what this card is representing. So while this card speaks about having like this divided loyalty, it also talks about the inability to see the truth and having some convenient blindness. You know, you're not really seeing the whole picture. So it warns against that as well in making your choices. There may be some things going on that you, maybe the clarity of it is clear as day, but you're not choosing to see it because you're just wishing for it to be something different. You need to really see everything on both sides for what it is before you make a clear choice. Now, the Eight of Swords talked about the possibility of some disloyalty or cheating, and this one is speaking about it as well. So it's possibility there may be some things going on your end, maybe. I mean, I'm just, saying that maybe, because here I thought maybe you didn't know about it, but here it's speaking about the options, that you're the one that possibly has these options, and it may not. For some of you, it may be the other person. You may be in a relationship right now where you're like, what's going on with my significant other? And this might be trying to tell you that this person's in a position where he's trying to make, or she's trying to make a choice between two, you and someone else, or this could be you trying to make that choice. Either way, there's a third person involved. That's what this is trying to tell you. Whether you're the one making the third person, or adding the third person, or it's someone else, there's a third person involved somewhere. Whether it's a relationship, whether it's work related, there could be someone at work causing trouble, but there's a third person involved. So now we're going to move over to the Nine of Pentacles, and that's in the reverse position. Now this card talks about shady investments, marrying for money, gold digger, scams, someone with a lack of eloquence, a lack of sophistication, and an overall lack of independence or stability. That's what we're dealing with in this card. And that's a very icky card, but that's the kind of energy that's floating in this card. And just for a heads up, if anyone's having issues health-wise, this card does touch on or represent miscarriage, fertility issues, or reproductive issues. So if that's resonating with anyone as well, this card is also representative of those things in the reverse position. This card actually carries with it an energy of dishonesty and deceitfulness. So when this card in the reverse position appears, it's asking you to please make sure that you're treating others with If you're a female, don't, and I keep stressing this because I do see too many queens trying to rip off others' crowns or take what's not theirs. If you're a queen, leave her crown alone, leave her king alone, vice versa. If you're a king, leave that girl alone if she's another man's queen. There's some dishonesty and deceitfulness, and this isn't the kind of karmic stuff you want to keep carrying around. There's a right way and a wrong way to do things. Things can always be done in a proper fashion. But the deceitfulness, no, that's the negative stuff that comes back and bites us later. So if it's not you, then be aware that there's an energy around of that deceitfulness. Not very loyal. It may, so just be very careful, because apparently if you're being warned from all this, it's someone who's doing a good job at hiding it. So just be conscious to that if it's not you that's doing it. It represents somebody wanting without wanting to put in the work for it. You understand what I mean? They want without having to work for it. So that's where the gold digger even comes in. And it also talks about the possibility of being duped by somebody who's looking to marry or be involved with you, not really for love, but more for the money or for your status, to get them a little bit somewhere that they've been trying to get. So just be very careful. Not everything is as it seems. So these cards are just kind of warning you to watch yourself on that end. Then we have the Six of Wands, and now she is in the upright position. Along this beautiful Six of Wands, and what she represents, this is an overall success card. It's talking about in general, everything at this point in your life should be going beautifully. Even after, if you're smart and you play your cards right, and a little joke, at this point things should be going smoothly for you. You keep focused, you keep everything right, but I'm showing success. Things, whether it's health, work, love, good things will start coming through with this card. And then next to it, we got the One of Cups, and that's in the reverse position. Now, the Ace of Cups reverse. The Cups cards represent emotions. When you see the Ace of Cups reverse, this represents some sadness, some blocked emotions. This is a breakup card. This is a card of unrequited love. Now, when I look back here, it makes a little sense, because these are talking about deceit, choosing between one or the other. Maybe somebody is going to be making a choice between you and someone else, and you don't win. Win. I hate using that word, because is it really a win? But, or you're going to be making the choice, and maybe you make the wrong choice because it's not going to go where you want it to go, or where you thought or were told it was going to go. This card, being that it's like the odd card in, makes me really truly believe that even with all of these, if you can just maintain your energy, everything will come to you. You were meant for this. This card wouldn't have just popped up in the midst of all of this chaos. And I'm telling you right now, this card would not just go, oh, look. And I told you when I pulled these cards for the other group, for the Nefertiti group, Spirit gave me 4. I kept trying to get 4, and Spirit kept spitting out 5. And finally, I'm like, all right, Spirit, come on, one more. And again, after like the 3rd or 4th time, it spit out 2. So I took the final card, and this was the final card. So there's a reason it was just kind of in there. So Spirit's trying to say something's going on right now. It's either you're making the choice or someone else is making the choice, whether it's work-related, relationship-related. I'm thinking it's relationship, because I get this unrequited love over here. It's the emotions card, and that's kind of how it ends there. Because this, don't forget, was in the middle somewhat. So I'm just going to pull it for a minute, because I really believe this is just to give a different message to this. But whatever happens here, whether it's you making the decision or the other person, there's some issues that are going to happen, and there's some deceitfulness, some disloyalty, as this card speaks of. And here we're talking unrequited love and sadness. But what you need to understand is it's not a bad thing. You are unique. You are special. We all make mistakes, including the other people. So they need to go their journey the same way you do. And what Spirit's trying to say to you is, if you can just hold yourself together and get through this the right way with eloquence and with grace, not without eloquence like it talks about here, but gracefully, in the right vibrations, you can still manifest things, because this card here talks about getting everything you want even after the pain. So again, it all comes down to how you decide you're going to play it. Are you going to trust yourself or someone else's emotions? Okay, so we're going to leave that there, and we're going to move on to the next set that I pulled. And that was from my Moonology deck. And what I pulled for the Moonology deck, I'll talk a little weird now, Moonology deck is nobody will come of this nothing will come of this situation. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Okay, so here we're talking about somebody having to make a choice, okay? And unrequited love, and it's telling you here, nothing will come of this situation. And conclusions are within reach. So I don't even have to say much there. I think those speak for itself. Okay? When I pull my past life deck, we get persecution and inquisition. Oh, we will touch on that in 1 second. And then on my goddess cards, I pulled Amazon and Tara. You know what, I'm going to go, even though that moon deck was very self-explanatory, let's kind of shoot back over here and just see what the book says. Because I'm telling you right now, it's just too much of a coincidence that it's telling you nothing will come of this, and conclusions, the end here is within your reach. Okay, so in a form of astrology known as horary, H-O-R-A-R-Y, horary, where an astrological chart is cast according to when the question is asked and decoded, a void of course moon means nothing will come of the matter, or this situation will bear no fruit. So this may or may not be good news depending on what you're asking. It's trying to say, so example, if you're worrying about something, this is a great card to get. If you're hoping for something, this may not be the best card to get, okay? So it's trying to let you know that the chances of something are diminishing. Something better may be just around the corner. So don't kind of pin everything on this one situation. Surrender to the divine. You know, and believe that you'll get what you need, not what you want. Take time out, meditate, and contemplate. So this card does stress that if you're hoping for a certain solution with this other person, or you're hoping for the outcome to be a little different, it doesn't look like it's going to be the case in this regard. Now, when we look at conclusions are within reach, the way it starts off in the book, and I'm just going to read it, it says it like this. And just like that, a door slams shut if you've pulled this card. And that's what it's trying to tell you. This card suggests that the situation that you're asking about is about to reach a peak or has just done so. So at this point, things are going to start slowing up. I know that may not be the greatest news if it's something you've hoped for, but nothing, I hate to say it, but a lot of things, they just don't last forever. Some things, from the way it looks like the reading is going, there's been a lot of deception. So this isn't a bad thing. This is something you should actually be grateful for, although you may not be feeling it at the moment. I can so promise you that in the long run, this is going to be such a beneficial thing for you. Okay? So what this card is letting you know is that doors that are slamming right now, they will not reopen. It's a time for you to get back on track. So whatever this was in your life, whoever this is that's causing this, they're actually taking you off your track. Okay? Forgiveness will set you free of karma. So if you've behaved in a way that you normally wouldn't behave, if there was an affair, whatever the case may be, don't beat yourself over it. If you know what you did was not in your right judgment, or what you normally wouldn't do, and you realize, this person was no good, forgive yourself. That will free you of your karma, but it must be true unconditional forgiveness of yourself. Meditation and praying and yoga. This is all recommended right now, okay? And then just the most important thing is let go and let it unfold. Just don't try to force anything. Let everything be, okay? When I go to your past life card, because these past life cards bring up things that have maybe we've dealt with in a past life, and which is why we're at our peak now with certain things. And I'm sorry if I'm moving the camera around like a crazy person. I'm doing one thing with one hand and then one with another, and apparently I'm not a good camera person either on top of it, so I'm trying really hard. So just bear with me, because I don't want to keep having to pause. I hate pausing and pausing, but I don't want to keep knocking this around. I should have been prepared, but I was not, because I don't even know the cards that are coming out. So give me one more second. Here we go. Okay. Now, when this card is drawn, okay, this is validation of your suspicions. It's telling you in a past life, you were accused of witchcraft, you were accused of being a heathen, or other crimes of such. So not necessarily a witch, but it could have been a heathen or of other similar crimes, okay? So now this fear, because of this, that's carried forward into this life, okay? In the past, your character and behaviors were examined publicly. So now, before you were blamed for different things. If you were a witch, you were blamed for crop failures and deaths and things that had nothing whatsoever to do with you. Nothing at all, okay? Of course, your neighbors, the government, whoever was blaming you for casting spells. It was all you, the spell caster. And I'm making light of it right now because I've lived it and I still live it in this life. I still have people who even know me. They know my character, but they also knew me from a past life, several of them. But because of that, whenever they don't do something correct or they're not correct with me in our space, they get very, you're going to be putting spells. Like, I don't need to put spells on anybody. I don't do that. Sorry. Spirit's got all of that under control. I am very well protected and taken care of. But there are people that do that. The minute things don't go their way, they're blaming the witch, the spellcaster. So it carries on into lifetimes. People will still do this. They'll still keep accusing. So you're dealing with stuff like this, it seems like. There's a lot of persecution. And again, when it carries over into this lifetime, it doesn't necessarily mean someone's persecution or inquisiting you about witchcraft. It could mean in this lifetime it's carried over to maybe this relationship where the person is being very, there's passive aggressive and there's manipulators. People always accusing of things. Maybe you're just in relationships where you're always getting accused of stuff. And now maybe you feel like, well, if I'm going to get accused of it, I might as well. Or maybe you're not the one. Maybe you're the one that's getting cheated on, or I don't know. But there's definitely persecution and inquisition. You were there in a past life, and it's carried over to this life. And you're feeling it, okay? So it's time to heal with that as well. You need to free yourself from those bonds, and that's a really, I'm going to do a video on doing stuff like this, but to give a short, simple technique, you just go into a little meditation and demand that any bonds that are holding you down, that don't serve you a purpose, be immediately cut and removed from your essence. Demand it. Say it out loud. Don't be fearful. That's when it works. Intention, my loves. Intention, okay? Let's go over to the goddess cards now, because now it seems like we know what's going on here. We know that you have power and you need to take your power back. It's speaking about two goddesses, the goddess Amazon and the goddess Tara. Now with the goddess Amazon, it says she cannot be wounded or hurt by lower vibrations. Fierce compassion for all life and protection on your journey. Stand for something. Learn and master the trials and lessons of the warrior. Express your wisdom. In a tarot reading, she would be the Queen of Swords. Well, we're back to those nice sword cards, huh? But she's the queen, so she's different. She's got that motherly energy. I told you, when it comes to the court cards, the swords kind of flip up on the reverse a little bit. I mean, come on, who doesn't love the Queen of Swords? She's witty, she's funny, she's humorous, she's self-reliant, she's all of the things you'd want her to be. She's compassionate, but there's also a little bit of sadness in there. This does also represent divorce. So that does kind of flow into there. So I did want to mention that, not to be a downer to the card, but it does have that in that as well. But the overall theme of the Queen of Swords is she's got this. She's got this. She is the queen. She's self-reliant. You know, she can slay any dragon, that type of feel. Then you have Tara. Now, Tara represents peace, harmony, and compassion. She's celestial beauty of lightness from the lotus of rebirth. Oh, that is so strange. I just had a vision the other day. A vision. I was meditating, actually. And this happens to me a lot. I'll just be in meditation and I'll just start saying stuff. Sometimes I speak in light language. Sometimes I'll just start speaking regular and I'll just start speaking and I don't even know where it's coming from. Well, it's spirit. But I just started chanting out of nowhere, I am the lotus. I said, I am the lotus. I am divine. I'm trying to remember what I said. I am the lotus. I am divine. And then I said I am all loving. I am unconditional. Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to deviate from your thing. I just thought that was interesting. I said, I am the lotus. I am divine. I am all loving. I am unconditional. And I just started repeating it over and over and over. And so when I saw this, it kind of triggered me a little bit. Peace, harmony, and compassion. Celestial beauty and lightness from the lotus of rebirth. Discern what you no longer need and awaken to a new solution, a new vision, a new lifestyle, or a new inner strength, a redirectioning, awakening. This is a beautiful card. Man, and it sounds like whoever this is for is got everything he or her needs to just do what they need to do to keep themselves on track. And if you do, there are some beautiful messages for people. Look, I'm not going to lie, Group 1 kind of got a very similar message as you guys did with deception, and there was a lot of swords. They had 4 cards, and 3 out of 4 were swords. So there's something going on right now with in the world, health-wise and with people. So a lot of us light beings and just, awakened beings are being put through a ringer right now. And I think it's how we choose to get through the ringer. So I think it's a beautiful message. If anybody has any questions, please let me know. You can send me an email. You can send me a DM. I always have time for somebody that needs some spiritual guidance. In the meantime, as always, joy, justice, love, and blessings to each and every one of you. I love you all so much. Stay safe. And remember, please like and share my video so that hopefully I can bring some blessings into someone else's life that may need it. I love you. Hi, everyone. This is for the people that chose number 3, the Lemurian Quartz Skull. I'm going to do a quick recap before I begin. I explained this to Group 1 and Group 2. I just want to reiterate that when I'm doing a reading, please only take what resonates with you. Don't hold on to anything that doesn't. Don't discard of it completely, but put it in what I call your mental junk drawer in case it comes up for you or someone else in the future. But don't try to unnecessarily hold on to something that just doesn't. Don't try to make it fit, is what I'm trying to say, if you know it doesn't. Just take what resonates. If I say he, she, king, queen, it doesn't necessarily mean a male or female. It's just giving an energy feel. So if I could be talking about a queen, or I might be saying she, and I could very well be talking about a male. So just don't worry about pronouns. We go with energies. That's all I could think of right now. And just don't dismiss anything completely, because even if it doesn't resonate at all, and I've said this before, and I don't know if I mentioned it in Group 2, but I'll mention it now. I never tell people to pick another deck, because you picked this one for a reason. Okay, you picked this beautiful skull for a reason. So if nothing resonates, there's a reason you picked it. So just put it aside, save the video, hold on to it, because at some point something very, I'm sure, if not in your life, someone else's, it's going to very similarly happen. So I tell people all the time, the cards don't lie. I've not been wrong in all the years I've been doing readings. So remember, these are just general readings. So I'm going to, unless I get pulled to something specific, it's basically a general reading. Give me one moment. My black cat, my Midnight, she's like all on top of me right now. I'm trying to get some room here. She's all in my space. Sorry, Midnight. Okay. So we're going to start. The first group of cards is from my Golden Tarot of the Renaissance deck. My original deck, the one that I love the most, is because I just love it. I'm used to it. So these are the cards that I pulled with that deck. Okay. We have the Ace of Pentacles in the upright position. We have the King of Wands upright. We have Justice reversed and the Hierophant. I gotta be honest with you, I'm actually kind of a little relieved. I'm taking a breath of relief here because the other two readings, the Nefertiti choice and the Wand, those readings were a little bit more sadder. They were more talking about, like, there was a lot of swords cards, and they were very similar, and it did talk a lot about stuff going on like now, the isolation, fear and anxiety. This reading looks a little bit more hopeful. So we're going to go through each card one by one, then we'll talk about it overall, and then I will move on to the other cards. That's what I forgot to tell you as well, and I did tell it to the other ones. For this reading, I'm just going to let the camera focus on the cards. There's no reason you need to look at me as I'm doing this reading. Everything you need to feel, any energy will be through my voice and through the cards itself, the energy of the cards. So, and I don't feel like I'm already having a hard time holding the camera, the phone and all this nonsense at once. So we're going to start with the Ace of Pentacles in the upright position. Now I have to tell you, this is a beautiful way to start a reading. The Ace of Pentacles represents new finances, new beginnings in finances, success, abundance. The Pentacles when you're doing a tarot, when you come up with Pentacles, Pentacles represents the money end. Okay, so if something is talking about Pentacles, it generally is talking finances. So if you're worrying about love, it might be that you're going to meet somebody at work. You know what I mean? Or somebody with money. So in every aspect, this is a great card to have. It's a money card. It's an abundance card. So it's an abundance, a literal abundance of money coming your way. So that's that card. Then we look over here at the King of Wands. King of Wands. This again, now we're going to talk about, just because I say king, it doesn't mean it's a male. It just talks about someone with that kind of maybe a masculine energy or more of a leadership in that sense. This is somebody that again, this is not a definite, but it may represent someone that's a fire sign, like an Aries, a Leo, or a Sagittarius. Okay, or somebody with those qualities. That could be a rising sign or somewhere, like something that holds high in their chart. Now, while this king is normally very friendly and helpful, and he's very loyal, he also likes his space, and he doesn't like to be crowded, so to speak. So as long as he's given free rein to kind of be himself, he can be very, very friendly, very loyal. But the minute he feels like his freedom's being taken away, he can become very self-centered, very egotistical, and some people might dare to say even a little bit mean. If you're in a relationship with someone who would be the King of Wands, it's kind of pretty much telling you, just be careful. He doesn't, or she doesn't, like anyone that's needy, clingy. That will turn them off as quick as you turn them on. So they like their space. They don't like to be questioned. They like to do what they want. In business, it could be a good omen. If you're trying to get in business for yourself or start your own business, this is a great card to get. This shows that you're ready for this, you got this, and it's encouraging you to go for it, okay? So now, the third card that came up in the deck was the Justice card, but this one now is in the reverse position. And this, I can tell you, normally signifies that justice, if it's talking about a legal case, justice in reverse talks about a legal ruling, I guess I want to say, coming, but it won't be in a favor you have hoped for. So I guess it's encouraging you, if you're doing any kind of dealings, whether it's illegal or marriage, friendship, if you're doing anything dodgy or shady, this is talking about it not working in your favor. This actually talks about things coming up, you getting, whoever is doing the dodgy stuff or whoever's trying to hide something, it coming out in the open and them having to pay for their actions. As we know, karma, all consequences have actions. So that card is letting you know that either something illegally is not going to be in a favor you've hoped, or if anyone you know or you yourself is doing anything dodgy, it's going to come to light. And is a card that talks about traditions. It talks about staying in line with traditions, doing things traditionally. You may have been doing things one way and now maybe you're thinking taking a traditional route. Because this card talks about not being the time to rock the boat, doing things, a certain way. So there may be something going on and you realize, what, maybe I just need to follow the rules on this, because especially when it comes to terms with the justice upright, maybe something isn't going in your favor and you're realizing, well, maybe I need to be traditional about this. I need to not rock the boat. I need to, if I want to change an outcome, I need to do things the right way, because it just talks about positive things, but going things are traditional, being part of maybe some ceremonies, maybe some religious ceremonies, some spiritual ceremonies. It also talks about the possibility of a mentor coming into your life. Again, it could be a rabbi, a priest, a new age counselor. It could even be someone like me, a spiritual advisor, a card reader, but someone that's going to come in and be able to give you some guidance into things and help you see things at a greater picture. So this is a pretty great reading. This is a pretty great reading. The only caution would be here at Justice, but again, it's just a caution card asking you to keep your eyes open. But I'm going to move on to the next deck that I have with this reading to see what they say, but I like that. Okay, so the two cards from my Moonology deck that I pulled for you, my beautiful loves, are: what do you need to release? And step out of your comfort zone. So now what I'm being told is you have these things. You got all this, the Ace of Pentacles, your abundance. You got all this beautiful stuff. The King of Wands, you're sitting on top of the world, okay? This is beautiful. You got this little issue here, but nothing we can't get over, okay? Traditions, celebrations, new things. But now, everything comes with a price, right? And I don't say that in a negative way, because even the most amazing things have to come with a price. You have to be able to sacrifice something to get something. That's just the way it is. You can't have everything in the world. If you're buying something in the store, you have to let go of some money to purchase the product. When you're a healer like me, you have to release some of your energy in order to heal somebody. You can get it back, but just like money, but you still have to sacrifice something. What do you need to release in order to have this? This is what Spirit wants you to think on right now. What do you need to release? And are you ready to actually step out of your comfort zone? That's what you need to ask yourself. Because chances are, if Spirit wants to know that, you're going to have to. You're going to have to do some things that may require you. Again, if your comfort zone is not traditional, you may have to get in a different mode. Or it might be vice versa. What you think is traditional to you may not even be. You might think you're the most traditional person on the earth, and you're not even close to it. So you may have to step out of your comfort zone in order to maintain it. I don't want to say phoniness, because it's not phoniness. It's something that your soul is ready to do, and you're fighting it. Or you're afraid to because you're so comfortable. You understand? But there's all this waiting for you. So now when I will go over to your past life card, I get wisdom. Okay? I'm going to go ahead and pull the book on that to see what it says in regards to wisdom. Give me one moment for this specific card. Okay. So now this card indicates that you have tremendous wisdom and knowledge from prior lifetimes, okay, that seek to resurface now. So a lot of people are in this awakening process, okay? They are. A lot of people don't know what they're going through. They don't know how to explain what's happening in their life, and they don't, they think they're going crazy, and there's a lot of different symptoms of an awakening. I can promise you, you're not going crazy. But you will have a lot of things start to resurface. And this is memories. Even if it's a feeling or deja vus, they're memories, resemblances of something that happened once before. So even if you've never thought yourself as wise or a smart person, this card is going to indicate to you that you learned important lessons and information that will serve you and others right now if you reawaken it right now. So you're holding something within inside of you, okay, that is so important and can be so helpful to not just yourself but other people. That if you decide to do the right thing and through self, exploration and meditation and just awakening, you can help so many people, not just yourself. All right. It's encouraging you. Maybe you want to return back to school. This could be something that just triggers you that you never thought you were good at before. Okay. It may be a sign that you're changing your career path. So you may be right now working the same thing for a long time, and then all of a sudden you're going to find yourself wanting to go to something you never thought you wanted to do before, that you never thought you were good enough to do before, or that you could do. Okay. So this card is asking you to believe in yourself. Know that you have what it takes to tackle a career related to your true interests and passions, and that's what it comes down to. They have to be true within your heart, and you got it. Okay, and that's what this card is telling you, that you actually have it. So focus in on it and see where that takes you. Now, oh wow. Okay. I pulled 2 cards. One of them hits close to me, so your goddess cards are Tanit, which reads, she is the Mediterranean goddess who offers abundance, creativity, sexuality, fertility, and the fullness of life. Expect abundance. One of the other groups had her too. And again, it's talking about abundance. 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 There is abundance coming your way. Expect abundance. Mary Magdalene, the Tower of Strength, the shock of unexpected events. Cleanse the ego. Hold and define your power. Inner light will stand the test, while egoic patterns burn away. It talks about hold and define your power. And at some point here, I talked about claiming your power. And that's exactly what this is saying. Although this resonates with the Tower card in the Tower deck, I'm not getting that pull on this. I'm just getting a completely different pull. I'm being told it is what it is. Hold and define your power. So it's asking you to burn your ego. A lot of people think ego is bad. And I need to reiterate that. Everyone has ego. There's good ego, and there's positive ego, and there's negative ego. When people say lose the ego, they don't mean lose your ego literally, because that means you're telling somebody to lose their sense of self. Your ego is yourself. That's not good. When you say lose the ego, we're saying the negative end, the part that's why here she says cleanse the ego. Notice how they're not saying lose your ego. Cleanse the ego, because the ego just needs to be clean, pure. Okay? Because that's when you'll be in your true power and your light will shine the brightest. Group 3, you guys had amazing reading with this skull. I want to thank each and every one of you for taking the time to watch these videos. I know sometimes they can be long and I stutter over my words. Spirit has a funny way of doing that to me. But I love you all. Each and every one of you for taking the time to trust me to hear the message. With that, I say joy and justice, love and blessings to each and every one of you. And please like, subscribe, and share my videos so that I may be able to bless others the way you all bless me. I love each and every one of you.